Hi everyone, and welcome to a slightly different look for the top 10 list. This is not necessarily something that's going to be permanent, but I'm just experimenting with the new rig I've got. Those videos I've been doing, the shelf by shelf videos that you've all been supporting, thank you very much, they've looked a lot better than I expected. Not just in terms of picture quality, but also in sound quality. And it's all from my mobile phone. There was like very little post-editing trickery. It was my phone with its microphone. Now this is slightly different. I've got the phone and the ring light doing pretty much the visuals, but the microphone is still my shotgun mic over there because I still feel the shotgun microphone is going to be slightly better in audio, but we'll see, because finally I got a cable that really well worked. So let me know what you think of this format, because for starters, I don't have goldfish arms anymore, and goldfish bowl wide angle issues, and you've got the backdrop just the same, and it's quicker to set this up. It also means that I can experiment with actually having games on show easier, because that way I don't have to put all the pictures up in post-editing, which takes a lot of time. I need to keep these things down. So what am I looking at today? Well, on my Google Drive list, this is top 10 essential games, and yeah, this is going to be very subjective, okay? The ranking of this is kind of neither here or there. I mean, how do you rank a game as more essential than another? And everybody's going to have different ideas about this is essential, this isn't essential, I would like this in my collection, I think you should need this. This is going to be completely subjective, and I've seen a lot of people do top 10 essential games, and it's been hit and miss. So bearing in mind, I believe that an essential game needs to be able to cater ideally for, well, your essential game collection. Let's say you've got these 10 games. You can cater for a wide range of players, a wide range of genres, a wide-ish range of abilities. Now, when I say wide-ish, I don't think you should go too heavy with these sort of games. I don't believe somebody like, I remember Tom Vassell did the list and he put Terraforming Mars on there. Now, regardless of my thoughts on Terraforming Mars, I do not see that as essential in any way, shape or form. Any of that sort of game in heavier, it's only going to cater for so many people. You know, you're not going to like have your friends round who have not seen many games and sort of go, oh yeah, look at this huge monstrosity, boom. You know, it's not going to work. Same for like giant dungeon crawls, same for like huge monstrosity LCGs and that. It's like, nah, they can't be essential. So, like I say, that's kind of my criteria. I'm sure you've got your own. By all means, stick them in the comments below and let everybody know what you believe to be an essential game. But yeah, just understand it's going to be a little subjective. Without further ado, let's get going. So the advantage with doing this setup is that I can actually show the game. I mean, finally. So my number 10 combines two genres. I feel it's a bit of role selection and a bit of area control. Now, I considered Citadels at first because I thought, well, the Citadel's new set, you get 3 sets of 8 characters. It's role selection, not too difficult. It's an evergreen, and I thought that would be pretty sweet. But then I thought, I'm missing an area control game on my list. You know, one where you can have dudes on the map and actually try and control areas. And I thought, well, what if I combine the two? Well, that means that I can have Mission Red Planet. This one, the 2nd edition version, is a solid game. I mean, this one has the role selection of the 9 character cards that you play down, pick back up at various points, so everyone's played different cards, they've all got special abilities, but once you get past that aspect, you then have the area control on Mars, where you're trying to control territories to get the gemstones for points. The cool thing with this, though, is that firstly, it caters, does it do 2? I'm not sure. Might do 2, but I wouldn't recommend this really as a 2-player game, but it caters for 3 to 6 really well. It scales great, and this is one of the few games where you can go 90 minutes max for 6 players. Not something you see in a lot of games, but this will cater for it. Looks gorgeous. It's Fantasy Flight's fantastic production with all the little spacey miniatures and the tokens and your little astronauts and the great. It looks gorgeous with the map and everything. But this one is a solid hit. Doesn't take very long to teach, is not quite gateway level. I mean, this one has a little bit of meat to it. You need to know what you're doing. So this will be for, you know, oh, I don't want anything too heavy, but let's have something with a little bit of meat in it. And this will do you nicely. I have to admit, I was thinking Mission Red Planet, Citadels, Mission Red Planet, Citadels. And it really came down to trying to cover more bases, as many bases as possible, and this is the one that won out. So number 10, Mission Red Planet, specifically the 2.0 version, assuming you can never find the first one anymore. My number 9 was the hardest choice I had to make because I thought I want one of these games in here that involves those picture cards that you use. And I thought, I've got all sorts. I mean, I've got this party game, this party game, this card game. So I thought, which one do I pick? Well, I thought as I was going through the list that I was missing a good co-op game as well. And I thought about like other co-ops, and I thought, well, there's things like Forbidden Desert and that. And I thought, well, that's good. It's perfectly feasible for this, but I just thought maybe I'm kind of done with it. I'm not desperate to play that one. And I figured like it's only got so much longevity in it. And then as I thought about other co-ops, I thought, yeah, they're all right, but I don't think they're gonna be essential nor have the longevity as such, or be able to like give you something a little bit different. So as I thought, well, I need a picture card on here, but I didn't want to put Dixit. I don't want a team versus, I don't want a traitor mechanic, so there's Obscuria out. So I decided in the end to go with, oh god, slippy. Mysterium. So I feel this one gets a bit too much flack, I feel. People, it's almost like Catan. It's almost popular to hate on it. Personally, I still think it's solid. I will still happily play this game, and it will cater fine for some, 3 might be a little low, but I would go 3, but 4 to 7 players, this works really well. You've got the one person who can be that ghost character, doing the whole thing of, ooh, which picture card is going to go well for this clue, which one's there, and that's really fun to do. I love being a ghost in this. I happily moderate this game all the time. And then you've got the co-op nature that everybody else can discuss all the different picture cards that have gone out and go, well, I think it's related to that top hat, but hang on, the black and white, maybe it's the magician, but yeah, but the black and white could also be irrelevant. Maybe he's referring to the like the sewing needle there. It could be that lady. And everybody comes out with their ideas and gets interactive with the group. So even though the ghost is not necessarily talking, they're still trying to help. But everybody else around the table is working together. And the picture cards, I think, are a fantastic way of doing stuff in games, because words are, I mean, for starters, it's not language dependent. As soon as you put words in a game, you've got to worry about language. But with this one, it's just pictures. There's no text. So it's not a case of you need to understand how to say green in English or Spanish or French. It's more the case that you look at this picture and feel, how does this picture make you feel about the characters that are in front of you? Don't need language for that. You can happily play this with somebody with a different language, and I think it goes over well. It's got multiple modes of difficulty. I highly recommend you start on medium though, because easy is a bit of a cakewalk. But if you want to expand it further, you can get card packs for this. I highly recommend the Secrets pack, I believe, which replaced the weapons with story cards. I thought they were really cool. And I still think this is solid. I don't get the idea that everyone needs to start hating on this or replacing it. I still think it's really, really good. So why can't we have nice things? So Mysterium for co-op, the party style picture card thing, suitable for a number 9. And number 8 is going to the slightly more meaty territory. You know, this is about as heavy as I would want a game in your collection to be for essential purposes. But I feel that you need a worker placement game in here. You know, worker placement is such a popular mechanic, I love it, and you need one in there. Question is, which one? I thought about the gateway level ones, and I thought, yeah, that's nice, but I think for you in your collection, you do need something with a little bit more meat to it, but not too much. And so I thought, well, okay, what other ones have I got? Well, you got Caverna, Fields of Owl, we've got way too heavy. You've got Pillars of the Earth. I don't think you can even find that anymore, so that's not really suitable. And I was kind of just struggling to find something that would work until I had a brainwave. For Garphill Games coming to the rescue. For Architects of the West Kingdom. Now, granted, this theme is not going to sing to everybody. I mean, the theme is boring as all get out, all medieval and ancient sort of little themes are. But the great thing with this is my pick of their entire range. So the Raiders, and obviously I did consider, but I don't think Raiders really shines until you throw the expansions in. Whereas this one I think shines even without the expansion. The expansion just makes it even better. But with this is my favorite because it's relatively easy to learn, but it's still got plenty of stuff to keep you going. I mean, you've got to consider the virtue track. Am I going to be high or low? Am I going cathedral? Buildings. I've got these different buildings with different bonuses and like scoring opportunities. I've got the apprentices with all the different abilities they do. What combos can I make to make them work really well? And that's before you get into the aspect of the worker placement twist in the first place, which is putting the workers out, but having to get them back at some other point from prison or from other people. And it won't be your traditional worker placement, maybe. So maybe you could argue that point where your essential collection should have the bare bone worker placement, like one worker, can't go there, done. This one throws a bit more of a twist in it, but I think this one, I mean, in case people look at that other worker placement and go, oh, that was a bit annoying, because I mean, I wanted to go there and I can't now, I don't feel I can do anything. I mean, you feel like you can do something in this game without it like getting in your way, you know, because people can't block you off a space. It's a case of how good the space is for you. So even though it's like, oh, I haven't got many workers on the board, well, I can still go get the wood I want. You know, anybody who suggests something like Agricola, for example, for an essential game, what are you on? I mean, that'll bring people into tears with like trying to, like, I need to get kids blocked, need to get kids blocked, need to get veg blocked. You know, it's like, you can't have stuff that's too punishing for an essential games list. But this one looks great, smallish box. It's, you know, bursting at the seams a little bit because I've got the expansion in it, but, you know, very good component quality, looks nice, great artwork, and I just think it's a solid worker placement game. This is one of my favorites worker placement games that there is out there, just for how much it gives you for a relatively simple package and how it brought something new to the table, even if the theme is whatever, who cares. So Architects, I feel for worker placement, this is the one to try. Number 7 is my straight up party game choice, and I did consider, and I know some people are gonna like for me for this, but I did consider Just One, but I didn't put it on the list. Just One is really good, and if you want to put it on your essential games list down in the comments, by all means do. I could not, you know, I can't fault you for it, but with Just One, I feel that it gets a little bit stale if you play it over and over and over again, and it only generates so many laughs. It doesn't feel like a flat-out party game. It just feels like, oh, it's a nice little filler, it'll keep you entertained, and it's interesting. But it's not really causing me to like fall out of my chair laughing or get really interactive with people, because after all, once you write your thing down, you sit in silence and wait for the person to guess, a la Codenames. It's just basically, I'd rather play Just One than Codenames any day of the week. This party game, though, is underrated. Most people haven't even heard of it. Hive Mind.
I don't think any of us expected him to say that.
I considered Time's Up. I considered Dixit. I considered Detective Club. I considered a lot of games, and I thought, which one is going to sing to people? Which one is going to be easier for others to grasp, especially if they've not heard of games? What caters for more players? 3 to 12? Yeah, there's a lot there. Which one can you tailor to make it shorter or longer as you wish? Easily can tailor this one. You literally just choose where your piece starts on the board. And the fact that this one has only a loser in it, no winner. It's avoid being the last. Basically, you're trying to like stay in the hive, don't get kicked out. First one to get kicked out ends the game, like cockroach poker. So it's not like, oh, I'm competing to win. You're just competing not to lose, and I feel that's more appealing. But why is this one essential? Because everybody probably has played something similar to categories in their life. The whole thing of, I've got to come up with a word for this topic and it can't be the same as everyone else, okay? Would he say that? I don't know. This throws it in reverse, where you have to come up with stuff that other people will think. So name 5 types of fruit. Okay, banana is pretty good, but he doesn't like bananas. Would he put banana? I don't know. Is banana going to be good? Oh, well, I know I like dragon fruit. Well, hang on. Who's going to put dragon fruit? Nobody eats that. There's nobody that's in this group. And even if you don't like the topic or anything like that, you know what's common. You know that somebody's going to put apple. So put down apple. But then once people reveal their answers, the fact that somebody did put like, you know, mango or something as their choice throws people up in arms, because it's like, mango? Well, out of all the stuff you see at the fruit stall, mango was the first thing that came to your mind. It's like, and you get into laughs with people as they put down an answer that they know is common, but doesn't get chosen by everybody else, which throws them into a fit. And where they put down something like totally like off the wall crazy and expect it to be great. It's like, well, what? Who doesn't like kiwi? Hey, I'm fine with kiwi, but that's not the first fruit I think of when I go to the store and say, oh look, apples, oranges, and bananas. Well, there's 3 already. It's like you get into these cool arguments, and it works so well. And I'm not going to go into the whole story of how I trolled my friend here. Go check out my shelf by shelf 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it's my shelf by shelf 6 video where I talk about how I trolled my friend with this game. You know, it's possible to do so, but honestly, this is underrated. Doesn't get any buzz, no one's really heard of it, but seriously, it works well at the cafe for like just brand new players, worked well with parents and family, works well with friends who are not gamers at all. Honestly, give this one a look. For a laugh out loud party game, Hive Mind. Number 6, I feel that you need something with tiles. You want to get onto that whole tile laying, maybe polyomino thing. And I thought, well, okay, what about Carcassonne? And it's like, Carcassone's alright, but I feel like if you just had the original box, it would get quite stale. You really want some of those expansions. And I didn't exclude games that had expansions off this list, like some people do. I feel that if you've got 10 games that you love and you buy no other games, I feel you should be able to expand those 10 games a little bit so that the variety doesn't die out. So I thought, okay, which tile laying game do I always like to play no matter what? And I thought, there's that one, and I thought, oh yeah, of course. It's my favourite animal in the world. It's my favourite polyomino game that exists. It has gone down well in every single family meetup, every single friend meetup, and every single Dice Cafe teaching event at Comic Cons. This works solidly. Good old Baron Park. Baron Park. Baron Park has you essentially like laying down the polyomino tiles, but you're doing so to cover up the spaces as efficiently as possible, but it's diminishing returns for the tiles. The sooner you grab them, the more points they're worth. But is it the right shape for you? You got to consider the point gain as well as the shape. But you've got different shapes for the bear parks themselves. You've got these huge ones that you can grab. You've got the green tiles, which are useful for some objectives and filling spaces, but they don't necessarily get you any points. You've got little objectives you can go for, and aside from that, it's a very straightforward gateway level polyomino game. Throw in the expansion, you've got some extra tiles, an extra map, the monorail, which is really cool, but the expansion is by no means essential. You can get by with the base game fine, but it's just really simple. It looks nice on the table. Yes, the theme is kind of pasted on, but it's a bear. It's a lovely bear. Although, I got to admit, the guy there with his hand and the bear looking at him, doesn't it kind of look like the guy has just slapped the bear? Like just gone, bad bear. And the bear is literally looking at him with his eyes, sort of going, you don't just slap me again. You don't do that again, or I bore you, I eat you. And it's just, look at the picture and see that. Can you unsee it now? Because I can't unsee it when I look at that picture. But that aside, very simple. And I thought to myself also, do I need a 2-player only game on this list? And I thought, 2-player only games are great, but essential? I don't know. I live alone, so a 2-player game is nowhere near essential for me. But I don't feel that everybody should have just a game that is restricted to 2 players, as good as they are. But games like this, and did I mention any so far that would work? Let's see. Mission Red Planet, no. Architects, no, not really. No, there's one or two coming up later that would be decent enough with 2 players, but this is the first one where I'm sort of like, I could play it with 4. Play it with 3, but I think this works brilliantly as a 2-player game. It doesn't have to be max 2 players for you to have a game that's great for just the 2 of you. Have this. You can play this with friends, but you could also just play this with 2, and it will work just as well, if not better in a sense. So, Baron Park, I've lost place, 6. But number 5, you've got to have this in your collection. You have to have this in your collection. Now granted, not everybody wants a pressure luck game. And, I thought, like, pressure luck, is that really something you need? And it's like, well, pressure luck is a simple mechanic. It's worth going for and covering. But then people will sort of think, all right, then ink and gold and diamond. No, I'm sorry, I don't get the love for that game. It's okay, I don't hate it, but it's so basic. There's nothing to it. It's just flip a card and decide you want to stay in or not. The end. That's it. It gets pretty boring pretty quick. But with this one though, this is the pressure luck game that I say no, this is the one we should have and play. Caters for up to 6 players, so again, works great. Takes no more than an hour, so it's nice and quick. But it adds a little bit of a bluffing element, but not too much. I don't think any bluffing game is good for essential games. Because not everybody likes bluffing. Not everybody likes lying. Not everybody likes to hold that whole deception thing. So I didn't put any social deduction games on the list. But this one I thought, this introduces just enough bluffing for you to have fun with it, because you could just tell the truth and not care. You could say nothing and it'll be totally fine. It's up to the others to decide what they want to do, and that is the phenomenal game for cafes. Whoop. Celestia. Up to 6 players. Works fine. Well, 2, probably not. It says 2 to 6, but honestly, you're looking at 3 to 6. You're probably looking at 5 and 6. So this is kind of like your group game. I need something that isn't necessarily a party game that will do that horrible 5-6 player count. And Celestia is the one I would pick. You've got your airship and you're taking it in turns to be the pilot to fly to different lands and get point cards, basically. First to 50, ends the game, see who's got the highest. But the great thing with this is that you play these cards to get past the hazards. But before you try to do it, everybody has the chance to decide if they're going to stay in or jump out of the ship. And this is where the interaction happens, because I've played this on Board Game Arena lately, and even that has interaction, because on voice chat, you can have people just shouting at each other going like, no, come on, Come on, we've talked about this. It's just a couple of clouds. You can handle this, can't you? Just clouds. and everyone trash talking each other's ability to pilot. The pilot obviously can lie out of their back teeth as to whether they can do it. You know, like 3 swords come up and it's like, I'm totally screwed. No way. I'm a pacifist. I cannot fight these guys. Everybody jumps out, you put down 3 swords, fly off and laugh in their faces. You can do that without necessarily being forced into playing a bluffing game. But it looks really nice, cutesy artwork, very simple rules. The power cards are not difficult to use, and you can expand this with a couple of mini expansions, so it's a very cheap expandable game. You know, you don't have to pay the ends of the earth, and relatively small package as well, and doesn't even take up that much space. I mean, you can arrange the air trail as how you like. I mean, I know it has like a big long straight line on the box, but you could just do a curve. What does it matter? As long as you've got somewhere to put the cards, and then you just need yourselves. So this is a relatively decent game for traveling as well. So Celestia, press your luck with a little bit of bluffing. Definitely give this one a look. My number 4, and people are gonna... Oh, they're going to hate me for this one, I think. Now, honestly, I think there's going to be lovers and haters. I still think that this is an essential game. You know, whether you like it or not, fine. If you hate it, you hate it. It's one of those games that was quite divisive. But I feel that for a tableau builder, this is the one I would recommend. I considered Splendor, and I thought, Splendor, great. Gateway level works with everybody. But I prefer to play it with the expansion, and the expansion's quite expensive, and as much as it's like, definitely good, I feel that you would lose a little bit of that replay value in it. So I thought, okay, so what tableau builder has good replay value? What has different abilities? What has expandability as well for, like, you know, more cards and that? And what still requires you to think about what you're doing without making it too, oh.
A headline regarding mass awareness of a certain avian variety.
Yes, you guessed it.
Heard what? Brian, don't!
Oh, well, a bird.
Yeah, people are going to hate me for it. I think people are going to love me for it. I consider Wingspan to be essential for a tableau builder game. I mean, besides the fact that this is about birds, a unique theme that hasn't been done before, excuse the fact that it looks gorgeous with the great artwork, linen finished cards and rulebook, the eggs, and everything else. But the variety with the birds, with the card abilities, and whether you play for food, for cards, for laying eggs, bit of everything, focus on one, doing combos with the various birds. You get a lot in the base game already. Throw in the expansion, you get even more birds and objectives to go for. And I didn't want to put a solo game on this list for essential, but this has a very good solo mode in it. So if you are starting off a game collection and you want a game you could play by yourself, then this one would work very nicely. There's a lot of games you could get, like a Nyrim and Coffee Roaster and that would work well solo, but for most people, I don't think a solo game is the essential aspect of their collection. Okay, yeah, case in point, I do like the solo modes that I have because I live alone, but that wasn't my first basis for starting a game collection. With this one though, you have that option. But it's a lovely game. I know some people hate it, but I love it. Silky smooth. Easy rules, you know, loads of different like card abilities that you can go for with them all being unique, different ways to play it, like different paths to victory, but the theme will appeal to a lot of people that you're trying to get into your game collection. And the fact that it just feels smooth, it doesn't feel like it's ever grinding its gears. Other tableau builders are out there, but they either lack that theme or lack that smoothness. I mean, Splendor is smooth, but then I thought, well, that lacks the replay value because once you've played it quite a lot of times, maybe they'll want to move on to something else. This one, I feel that you could play for quite a long time and be kind of satisfied with it. You know, especially if you like, all right, well, I need more stuff in this game. Oh, look, the European expansion, shunk, and it didn't go through the roof in terms of variety. And that's before they throw in any other expansions. So, you know, I believe Wingspan deserves a spot on this list, even though I know some people are going to disagree wholeheartedly with that, because this is one of those games where you either love it or you were like, why did everyone go so mad about this? I don't get it, you know, and granted, yeah, I don't think it deserved the hype it got. You know, no game deserves the hype it got. And yes, that includes Frosthaven. Calm down, for crying out loud. But with this one, you know, I felt like, okay, it was hyped up to heaven and back. I played it and thought it was a solid, really good game that I really like to play. Did it deserve the hype? No, but I still think it's really solid. So Wingspan, number 4 for tableau builders. My number 3 is my racing choice category. You need to have a racing game. I mean, racing games are like the ultimate competitive sport for, people to just go, yes, come on, go and get everybody, yay, for those stand-up moments. And there's a lot of racers out there, some of which are trying to go a little bit too hard into the Euro game category for Thunder Rally, and Grand Prix and a few others. It's like, come on, I just want to literally get some cars on a track and race. I considered Snowtails, but I thought, I don't know, it doesn't feel quite as smooth as I feel like it needs to be. It doesn't go up to 6 players. I would like it to go up to 6. And it does have some nuances in it that maybe other players won't get used to. So I thought, well, what else has expandability as well as that? And I thought, oh yeah, the game that has worked for me so much. Downforce. Downforce, straight up simple. And you can expand it with new maps, so you don't have to get the new maps, but certainly I am. And come on, when's Wild Ride coming to the UK? Tell me, I want the second map pack expansion, I really do. But this one, 30 to 45 minutes a game, tops.
John Spartan, you are fined 1 credit for a violation of the verbal morality statute.
2 to 6 players. Don't read into that too much, but and it caters for different ages, and it's straight up simple. Here's your hand of cards with the colour strips on it. Play one, work your way down, move the cars. You try to block up other players, you try to support your own. And then you've got the auction phase at the start. Again, just play a card, that's how much you're bidding for the car. And then when you get to the end, how much you bet, how much you won, minus what you paid, there's your score, done. Nice and simple. But it causes a lot of great laughs and fun as the cars start getting bunched up in bottlenecks, as people start blocking each other. Throw in the first map pack and you've got 2 fantastic maps for the whole figure of 8 and like dangerous roads where you can block people in. But even the original map, the advanced one on the first, like in the base game, still has a few bottlenecks that's going to frustrate some people in a good way, a light-hearted way. But this is your quintessential cars on a map and, cars on a map race. And if you want to go the whole hog like I did, I don't recommend it. Granted, these cars are good. They're good. But Mario Kart racing cars are better. I still need to get Shy Guy for this, actually, funny enough. But yeah, I can't wait for that new map pack. It's got ramps and obstacles and stuff. Really can't wait. But yeah, for a racing game, other than Snowtails, I can't think of a better essential racing game. And no, I would not include Formula D at all. Formula D is just roll dice and hope. It takes forever to play. It involves a lot of counting for like spaces, which takes up time. It's like, no. Downforce over Formula D any day. And number 2, I had to think drafting games. And it's like, drafting games, great. So, what simple drafting games are there? Dime a dozen. There's quite a few. And I did consider quite a lot of them. And I thought, okay, why is that one not good? Why is that one not good? And I thought for drafting, it needs to be pretty simple, I think. I don't think you need a meaty drafting game. But then you also don't want a lot of obtuse terminology. So I thought, well, that puts paid to 7 Wonders. And I did consider that one a lot. But then I thought, what's the drafting game that just works? Works all the time. Can play it with just about everybody, but then also has the variety, not expandability, but has the variety in this condensed box and can cater for a massive number of players. This one can do from 2 to 8 players, and it does all of them well. 8 players is great, 2 players is great. There's a specific set of cards you could use for 2 players, and it works brilliantly. Do not underestimate low player counts in this drafting game. But you know what it is. Tim Marks, Sushi Go Party, and I do mean the party version specifically, not the normal Sushi Go small box one. No. Because that small box one is only 2 to 5 players and it's a fixed menu. This one though, 2 to 8 players with the scoreboard and that, which is a little fiddly, but works in that. But you've got all these different menu items. You've got the board with the menu that you set up, so there's tons of variety in this game because you chop and change what cards you're including in the game. And if you want a 2-player only version, then great, use those cards. You want to have a really cutthroat one, use those cards. It gives you recommended sets. You want to make it a bit more meaty, then great, throw in the really interesting rule ones. You want to make it nice and basic to teach, then stick with the original menu. There's so many different ways that you can customize it. It looks nice in a nice little tin box, although tins are hit and miss as to whether I like them or not. But yeah, 20 delectable dishes. You've got loads of different cards in here and things that you can do, and chopping and changing even just a few of them can throw some interesting combos in the works. But for drafting, this is so simple. I mean, it says 20 minutes, that's optimistic, maybe for 2 of you, but for a lot of players now, you're probably looking at 45 minutes, I would say, 30 to 45 minutes. But it's just so simple. You know, here's a card, choose one, play it, pass the rest on. Choose one, play it, pass the rest on. That mechanic is already easy, but the fact that you don't have to interpret weird symbols. Every card tells you how it scores. 7 Wonders I did consider, but I thought, you've got to learn a lot of iconography in that in order to get used to it. And I thought, nah, maybe not. Plus, 7 Wonders, I want the expansions. I don't want to just play the base game all the time. I thought Villagers, and I thought, well, Villagers, again, the variety is only so much. I didn't think it was going to work too well. And then I couldn't really think of many other decent light drafting games after that. Nope, don't like Paper Tales. But this one's gone over so well. I have taught it at events. I have played it with friends, family, my parents, and my even my brother's wife likes it, and she's a hard one to get into games. She's not a huge fan, but even she says, "Oh, has Luke brought Sushi Go with it?" Great, perfect. Anything that can sing to her has got to be essential in my book. So Sushi Go party for all your drafting needs. And my number 1, yeah, I can't bring up the big box because they're all constrained in a giant wooden crate that I got recently for them, you know, in the other room. And I am not lifting that off the shelf because it's buried under a few other bits. But this one, you know, I can instead take this little one from down here, which hopefully you can't see. But this is the quintessential gateway game. It is the quintessential essential game. Quintessential essential, how's that work? But it's this, come on. You know, you may not be fans of it, but this has been an evergreen since 2004. This is a game that just constantly sells, constantly gets map packs, constantly does well for families and gamers alike. Choose whatever country map you like, it will work well. Choose the little 15-minute versions and it will work well. But you have to have this game in your collection. I just can't think of a game collection that doesn't have a copy of Ticket to Ride somewhere in its collection. This is the London one. So this is the little 15-minute ones I mentioned. You've got London and New York. This is the better of the 2, London. And I have kept this one because as a filler game, I think this is a great way to do Ticket to Ride. But I've got the 10th anniversary. I've got the, I think I've got just about every map pack there is. I even bought Poland the other week. I've got that one downstairs that I've got to unwrap. And I think, what don't I have? No, I even bought Nordic countries. So what don't I have? Probably like really obscure stuff like the Alvin and Dexter stuff or Geography's Germany and stuff like that. So I probably don't have those, but I think I've got all the official map packs in it. I can't think of one that I don't have yet. But yeah, Ticket to Ride. It just works. Who doesn't know Ticket to Ride by now? I mean, come on. The whole collect the sets of colours, you know, kind of rummy style, play them, lay the tracks, connect from A to B, complete tickets, all the map packs, throw their other little scoring tweaks in there. Really love the new Japan one that came out. That was a really good one. And, you know, I look forward to getting Poland to the table at some point when isolation is over. God, I hate isolation. But yeah, whether you get a 15-minute version, the 10th anniversary version, a 2 to 3 player only version, a one that's better with 5 to 6 players, whatever, does not matter. Just grab a base set of Ticket to Ride, expand it as many times as you like, but you will have an essential game for your collection because it'll work with gamers, families, new players, you know, like everybody, all ages. You know, a 5-year-old will play it, a 15-year-old will play it, a 50-year-old will play it. There's so many people that will get into Ticket to Ride because of its simplicity, yet its smooth gameplay and just overall good fun for something that is a 45-minute to 60-minute game. I can't think of anybody in the gaming world who doesn't know that Ticket to Ride exists. This is the game that should be number 1 on BGG. I'm serious. Honestly, I'm fed up with the way that the BGG rankings are so skewed by veteran-heavy gamers. That's why we've got things like Through the Ages and Gloomhaven and Terra Mystica and all that lot in like the top 10. And like, no! I'm sorry, this what £150 monstrosity big box game that takes 3 hours to play, an hour to set up, and you'll never see all the content is the number 1 game? No, I'm sorry. You know, evergreen since 2004 has got more people into the hobby than I can even count. You know, works at every occasion, works for every player count, works at every age bracket. You know, how can this not be the number one? It doesn't have to be your favorite game ever. It's not my favorite game ever. I think this is somewhere in the middle of my top 100s, around the 50s. But no game I can imagine has been more influential on the hobby than this. If you don't get into CCG territory and start thinking about Magic the Gathering. But honestly, it does the trick. This has to be an essential game. My number one, without a doubt. Whew! So, yeah, I mean, people are going to have opinions on that one. And certainly, you know, I have a Patreon choice as well. And there were some interesting ones that came up. I mean, someone did say Splendor. And I thought, yeah, okay, cool. Splendor was good. I just felt we needed something a little bit more meaty. However, I will showcase this game. I did mention it earlier, but the one that got the most votes, and you'll probably agree, was Just One. And that's fine. You know, I mean, I was perfectly happy to see this on some people's essential games list, and I can certainly see why it might be on yours. I just wanted to give a little bit of love to Hive Mind because I felt that in terms of laughter and like sheer fun to play, I get more out of Hive Mind than I do this one. This is a good filler. This is a good, you've never seen games before, you've never seen party games, great, we can play this one and it's a co-op. Hive Mind is just don't be the loser. So it's not a co-op, but it's only one person losing out. And it won't be the same person every game. This one is good. Still, like, it's in my collection. I mean, come on, it still has its uses, but I don't jump for joy as soon as somebody says, oh, we're playing Just One when there's other stuff on the table. It has its place, and I do honestly, you know, perfectly fine with people sticking it in their Essential Games collection. It just wasn't, for me, this would be in my teens. You know, maybe this could be like an 11 or 12, 15 max, you know, somewhere in there. So, still happy with this. So, if you're wanting this on your list, then the Patreons have got your back. Whew. What else did I consider? I mean, there wasn't many on the list that I considered as essential, but I thought Splendor, Hanamakoji, but then I thought I didn't want a two-player only game, so I left that one out. Dixit, I considered Dixit, but when I thought Dixit, Mysterium, Obscurio, Mysterium was the one that won through. Coffee Roaster, I wiped that out pretty quickly because I thought I don't want a solo-only game on here. That didn't really work out. Seven Wonders, I already said. Just One, already mentioned. Time's Up. Time's Up I'm losing a bit of faith in at the moment. It has its fun moments, but you could be sat there with a really bad team and it just sucks. And if you play it in the wrong environment, like noisy at a convention, I just don't think it works either. So I'm starting to lose a little bit of faith in Time's Up, so I wouldn't make the list. Harvest Dice I consider. I've lost my copy of Harvest Dice. Anybody want to do a charity donation to the Broken Meeple, donate me a copy of Harvest Dice because I want that back in my collection. I don't know where it's gone. I've probably taken it to a game night and someone's nicked it, or I've left it on the side. I don't know. But Harvest Dice is my pick of the roll and writes. So, you know, all the other roll and writes feel exactly the same. Flip a card, right. What's the other players doing? Couldn't care less. Here, though, you're drafting dice and you care what the other players are doing because they're going to nick your dice or you can nick theirs. Works so well. But I didn't think a roll and write was essential, really. I mean, let's face it, the genre is bloated enough as it is. Azul wasn't desperate to think that you needed an abstract game as an essential game, and I did consider it, but Azul I prefer to play with 2, 3 players max. I'm not as keen on playing it with 4, and again, I just feel it would lose its variety after a period. But I mean, it would probably still be in my teens. And then we had Jaipur and Star Realms for some 2-player only games. And Jaipur is a fantastic gateway game, but I thought essential, probably not. Definitely for a gateway games list, and it works brilliantly, but essential, I just don't think it was that needed. And Star Realms, I thought about it, because I thought this is probably the easiest deck builder for 2 players to get into, but again, it was 2-player only. And I didn't think a deck builder game was essential. Deck building's great. I love deck building when it's the focus of a game, not just an add-on. But I thought, that's kind of me. I didn't feel like my collection is lost without a deck builder. And I certainly don't think that if you're starting off a game collection that you have to know what deck building is. You could avoid deck building forever and be perfectly fine with the games that are out there. So I kind of washed that one away as well. And yeah, that was all the ones I was thinking of. So yeah. Hope you like this format with the shotgun mic and the phone. Let me know in the comments what you think of the setup and that, and maybe this will be the new thing. You know, maybe this with the games on show that I could take out of their boxes, the fact that my arms don't go like Mr. Fantastic as I lead them out of the thing, because I know some people like my wide angle view, and I liked it as well, but it's quite a path to set up, because with this one, I've got the ring light, I've got the shotgun mic, I could maybe not even use the shotgun mic, I could just have the phone. So I literally have one tripod, phone, light. and that's it. With the other one, the wide angle one, I need a camera here, shotgun mic, light. I need about 5 to 6 lights around just to light up the thing, because the DSLR wide angle lens doesn't let enough light into the thing, which is why I have to do a lot of post-editing trickery with the lighting. But you know, I've got to set all that up, and the batteries are not always reliable. 2 of the lights, the panel lights, aren't strong enough. But this ring light's fantastic. This is the best piece of kit I've ever bought. So let me know what you think. This could work well for reviews, you know, for a review video, so that's not a wide angle one. And maybe it'll just add a little bit of professionalism to it. The fact that I can have the table here, the backdrop as well. You know, let me know what you think in the comments. You know me, I'm always trying to evolve the channel. And like I said, if you take a look at my older videos since season 1 in my old flat, see how this channel has progressed through season 2, 3, and now 4, you can see the evolution. You know, I'm liking it. And other than that, like I say, I'm going to sign off anyway. So that's it for me. You know, if you like what you see, please subscribe. Check me out on Facebook and Twitter. Subscribe to the podcast. Subscribe to the Patreon. Push the bell. Share the videos out there, because we're on, what am I on? Like 9,400 subscribers nearly. I think I'm almost up to that point. Push to 10,000. Let's get to that 10,000 before the end of the summer. That would be, I mean, by the end of the year I think that's possible, but by the end of the summer, I think that would be one hell of a good milestone to reach. 10,000 subscribers. Yeah, it's wishful thinking, but we'll see. So that's it for me. I'll see you on the next Broken Meeple video, top 10 shelf, whatever that might be. And remember, whether you class these games as essential or not, it's very subjective. And of course, it's only a game. Take care, and I'll see you next time.